Welcome back to Second Take. Me, I'm Jillian Kushner. That's Armand Sadler. We have had a busy week in the NFL. It's free agency. ESPN's Adam Schefter has been reporting on everything, and I'm hoping we have everything covered. So we're going to dive right in. Some of the big trades. The Jets released Santonio Holmes. The Jets also released cornerback Antonio Cromartie. The Bears released Julius Peppers. And one that I found to be extremely disrespectful was the Cowboys released DeMarcus Ware. DeMarcus Ware is one of those people who, when you think Cowboys, you think DeMarcus Ware. He's a veteran. I found this to be extremely insulting. If I were him, I'd be insulted. He bounced back pretty quick. He's already signed with the Broncos. He has a 3-year, $30 million deal, so that means he has $13 million for this year from the Broncos. I hated this move. I thought the Cowboys really messed up, and the Cowboys also released Miles Austin. Like, everybody knows Miles Austin, that star receiver. So I think Cowboys as a whole right now, they're messing up because those are two people you shouldn't have lost.
I'm going to have to take the opposing viewpoint on that one. I think that the Cowboys need change. They haven't been very good the past couple seasons. Well, they've been all right, but they haven't made it to the playoffs. If they have, they haven't gone very far. So I think that they need a lot of change in their organization. So dropping DeMarcus Ware, dropping Miles Austin, that'll open up opportunities for them to bring in new players, maybe other players to step up. So I support the move.
No, the thing I have wrong with this is everyone knows the issue with the Cowboys is Tony Romo, but yet they just signed him to what, $105 million deal? Why are you giving him that? Because everyone being in Texas, everyone says Tony Romo sucks. I'm not a Cowboys fan, and I'm thankful for that because I would hate myself. But DeMarcus Ware, he's great. There is no reason not to have him. Miles Austin is the only person who will catch Tony Romo's terrible passes. So, no, this is not the change they needed. This is the worst change. And I think letting go of a veteran like DeMarcus Ware is insulting. If I were him, I'm telling you right now, that Cowboys-Denver game is going to be heated. And I can tell you right now, DeMarcus Ware breaking through that line and throwing Tony Romo on his butt, and it's going to be the greatest moment of his life.
No. And to your comments about Tony Romo, Tony Romo's a good quarterback. Honestly, he really is. He had a great season this year. He is a choke artist. He doesn't get it done when they need it the most. But that game against the Broncos, when he lit it up, Tony Romo he had a great season.
So if he's not good when they need him most, how is he a good quarterback?
Well, it's a good point. You got me.
You lost an argument.
That's very true. But Peyton Manning is the same way. Peyton Manning's a great quarterback, and he clearly in the playoffs he doesn't get it done. He has an 11-13 record in the postseason. So, what makes Tony Romo and Peyton Manning different? In that they both choke when their teams need them to come through.
All right. Anyways, another big thing was Darren Sproles and the Saints. For a while, wasn't really sure what was going on. Darren Sproles said he would rather be released, so then he would, get to be in charge of his own destiny. Instead, the Saints chose to trade him, and now he's playing for the Eagles, which I'm extremely happy about. Signed a 3-year deal. Can't wait to have him on the Eagles. But this is another insulting move, I think. Darren Sproles, he's been a very good player for the Saints. Drew Brees went out on Twitter saying how upset he was. Really a strange move. There's a lot of strange moves this week, and that was definitely one of them.
I don't support that move. I think that Darren Sproles is a very great player, and he belongs on a team where he can be the guy, and by the guy, I mean he can be the starting running back. And right now, the Eagles have LaShawn McCoy, who's very talented, and he's their guy. So I don't really see how Darren Sproles is going to fit in. Maybe he'll be a special teams guy, but I just think that.
No, I see it working well because, we have Shady in there every single play, LaShawn McCoy is always in there, and you kind of need someone else to take the load off. Darren Sproles is a different type of running back. He's very different from LaShawn McCoy. And I think it will work out well, but I am shocked that the Saints got rid of him because, the Saints are going to have some issues. They also released wide receiver Lance Moore, Malcolm Jenkins. I don't know what's going on with the Saints, man. I guess they're looking at the draft as this year's draft is where they're getting everybody, but I'm not really sure about these moves.
I don't really have a problem with what the Saints are doing. At the end of the day, as long as they have Drew Brees and Jimmy Graham, I think they'll be fine. They can get rid of Lance Moore. They still have Colston, who's a very great receiver. So I don't really have too many issues with them getting rid of Darren Sproles and Lance Moore. I think the Saints will be fine, especially with Sean Payton as their coach too. They'll be fine.
One of the craziest moves was that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers released Darrelle Revis, a.k.a. Revis Island, and he already signed with the Patriots for a 1-year, $12 million deal. The reason I have an issue with this is we've talked about it on this show a lot. Who cares about the Buccaneers? They have those new jerseys, almost as irrelevant as they are. Darrelle Revis was the only player on that team that everybody was like, Darrelle Revis. Everyone has respect for him. He's a great player, great player. Why would you release probably your best player? It's something I don't understand. He bounced back pretty quick. He's already on the Patriots. I don't know how the Patriots are fit for him. I can see it working out, but he also has a big personality. He's going to make that defense his immediately.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you here. I don't really understand why the Buccaneers would get rid of Darrelle Revis. He's arguably one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL. I mean, there's arguments between Richard Sherman, Patrick Peterson, all those guys, but Darrelle Revis is a great cornerback, and he makes defenses great. So the fact that the Buccaneers, who are already a pretty bad team, would get rid of a star cornerback makes no sense to me. The Patriots got a gem, and they're currently courting Brandon Browner too. So if they pick up Brandon Browner along with Darrelle Revis, like their defense is gonna improve so much. And they already have a really good defense. They're just a good team overall. But they've definitely got a good pickup in Darrelle Revis, and I think he'll be really great there.
Another team who's really building up their defense is Denver. We already talked about them picking up DeMarcus Ware. Former Patriot cornerback Aqib Talib signed a 6-year, $57 million deal with Denver. So that's going to be Denver defense is something to go with. And our favorite, Mr. Jonathan Martin, he was traded, which I'm sure he is so happy about, to the 49ers. Slightly disrespectful. He was traded for a 7th-round pick in the 2015 draft. It's not really showing how important he is, but great move because maybe now the Dolphins can get back to football and stop worrying about bullying and all of this. Good luck on the 49ers. I don't really have much opinion on how he's going to play there. I just know the Dolphins needed him out of there.
Yeah, it's just a great move for both parties. There was too much drama going on with the Dolphins and Jonathan Martin, and now he can go to the 49ers. He can have a blank slate. He can also play on a team that's a lot better than the Dolphins were. The 49ers are constantly in the mix the past couple seasons for the Super Bowl, so it's really good that he'll be able to be on a successful team. His play time, it'll be determined. He might be the 6th man on their line, meaning he won't get as many plays. He might also start guard. They're not entirely sure what they're going to do with him, but it's just a great move to get away from the Dolphins and all that drama that happened with him.
Yeah, I hope the Dolphins will get it together now. Minnesota Vikings signed Everson Griffin, and then following that, Jared Allen parted ways with the Vikings. I'm not sure if he's going to be traded or released, but, Jared Allen was a huge part of the Vikings, and I was pretty shocked about that they would even try to replace him with Everson Griffin. And the Vikings also signed Matt Castle to a 2-year deal. As we know, Adrian Peterson voiced his opinion about wanting Mike Vick. Mike Vick is still looking around in the league, might be released by the Eagles. It's not sure yet, but why would they sign Matt Castle is beyond me. I know Adrian Peterson's not happy about it. I'm not happy about it either, AP. I'm not happy.
I support the move personally. I think that the Vikings need a quarterback change. Ponder's not the guy. I think they should start Matt Castle. Matt Castle had some success with the Chiefs. They weren't a great team, but he's a solid quarterback, and I think he can get the job done.
He knows how to work with a good running back. He had Jamal Charles, so Jamal Charles, great running back, hook him. But Adrian Peterson also a great running back, and he needs a quarterback that's going to help him with that. I'm not sure if Matt Castle is the answer. Definitely needed a quarterback change, but I'm not sure if that was the right one. Is the only thing I'm saying about it. Again, I'm really upset about Jared Allen. Everybody loves Jared Allen. Everyone loves hearing that he claims he went to the Culinary Academy. Great player. I'm sure he'll find a new home pretty quick. A lot of teams would be lucky to have him. And this one, I know we're going to debate about this. The Titans and Chris Johnson. They haven't decided if they're going to release him or trade him. He did say he was willing to take a pay cut if he was traded. The reason I have an issue with this is the Tennessee Titans are not a great team, and Chris Johnson has become their franchise player basically, and they released him, or they're no longer with him. And you know, we all remember that year where Chris Johnson was just killing everybody, and there hasn't been much attention on the Tennessee Titans lately. And just because there hasn't been media attention on them doesn't mean Chris Johnson hasn't been doing his job. He is still a great running back, still very talented. He's probably one of the fastest people. Pretty sure he is one of the fastest people in the NFL. I remember his 40 time was fast. And he'll find a new home, obviously, but question this decision by the Tennessee Titans. I really question it.
I completely support the decision by the Tennessee Titans. Chris Johnson, yes, he's one of the fastest guys in the NFL. I believe his 40 time was like a 4.24, but he didn't have a great season this past season. He's really underperformed. He hasn't reached his potential, and I think it's a good move for the Titans. I think that they should look elsewhere, try to find a new running back, because I mean, they don't have a great team as it is. They don't have a great quarterback, and I think they should really focus on bringing in a great quarterback and then maybe looking towards another running back. But Chris Johnson really hasn't been the guy that he should be for them in terms of his performance, so I support the move. I think they should definitely look elsewhere for another running back.
Another team releasing a great player, Carolina Panthers released wide receiver Steve Smith. He's planning to visit the Ravens. I don't know about this decision. You know, the Panthers have gotten a lot better recently, but to release Steve Smith, he's a great receiver. I think he'd be great for the Ravens, honestly. But Carolina, I'm not sure about this one.
Yeah, Steve Smith, he's gotten older, but he's still elite in the NFL, in my opinion. I think he's so talented. I understand the move. I think the Panthers are trying to move towards a young team, a young athletic team with young players who they'll keep throughout the duration of their careers. So I get the move. Steve Smith did great things for them. They went to the Super Bowl in, I believe, 2004. They unfortunately lost, but he's been there. He's been around. He's been a staple in their franchise. But at the same time, eventually you have to move on. So I get it. And if Steve Smith goes to the Ravens, I think that'd be big with them losing Anquan Boldin the past season and tanking. I think that Steve Smith will add a lot to their offense. But I support the move for the Panthers. I think that they should. Parting ways was a good move.
And we've already discussed Saints, but they also signed former Bills safety Jairus Byrd to a 6-year, $54 million deal. You know, Bills, I wouldn't be releasing any players anytime soon because y'all aren't looking too hot. And then the former Saint, Malcolm Jenkins, is going to Philly for 3 years, $16.25 million. And a big one I think we really need to discuss is Rashard Mendenhall is retiring at the age of 26. He released a statement. He didn't want to have a press conference. He released a statement which was published to the Huffington Post. Really great piece, actually. And in this he says he's really enjoyed his time in the NFL. He feels like he's had a lot of fun. And he says, I feel like I've done it all. I've been to 2 Super Bowls, made a bunch of money, had a lot of success, traveled all over the countries and overseas, etc. But along with his joyful experiences came many trials. And he was claiming that he felt he had a lot of problems with the NFL, the way football is set up. He said that it's a different sport than what he came to love. He really wants to travel the world now, write. He likes writing, but he said that he's had a lot of criticism from fans over the internet. He's had a lot of issues with publicity, everything like that. Really interesting piece. He made a lot of great points, but he's 26 years old. For him to be retiring right now, you know, this is his decision. He didn't want a lot of media around it, but interesting decision to say the least.
Yeah, definitely an interesting decision. At the age of 26 to be retiring from any professional sport, it's really not something you see unless someone's plagued with a lot of injuries or they just aren't picked up by any team. So definitely surprising. Rashard Mendenhall is a great running back. He did a lot of great things for the Steelers, those 2 Super Bowl trips. Definitely something really weird to see, definitely unexpected. But I hope he finds success in writing. I hope that he enjoys his life outside of the NFL. I mean, sometimes all good things have to come to an end, and his end came a lot sooner than expected.
It was really a great piece that I wrote. He wrote. Sorry, he ended it saying, "So when they ask me why I want to leave the NFL at the age of 26, I tell them that I greatly enjoyed my time, but I no longer wish to put my body at risk for the sake of entertainment. I think about the rest of my life, and I want to live it with much quality. And physically, I am grateful that I can walk away feeling as good as I did when I stepped into it." So it's obvious he has no hard feelings towards the NFL or anything like that. He's made it very clear he appreciated his time there. I mean, I wish him the best. Travel the world, have a great time, Sharp Mendenhall. It was great watching you. So it's weird. It's definitely a weird move.
Yeah, I want to harp on one thing he said, how he doesn't want to put his body on the line for the sake of entertainment. I mean, I guess it's good that he's leaving the NFL if he feels like he's only playing to entertain people. I feel like if you're playing a professional sport at that level, it's such commitment and you're sacrificing yourself, you should do it because you love it, not because you feel like you have to entertain people. So if that's his reasoning, then I get it. And I think it's good that he's retiring then, because you shouldn't join such a violent sport if you're only doing it to entertain people. So
exactly. And some more trades, of course. The Steelers released LaMarr Woodley, and he already signed with the Raiders. The Bills, another silly move. They released quarterback Kevin Kolb. Colts re-signed Ahmad Bradshaw. The Raiders re-signed Darren McFadden. The Raiders signed, this was weird, the Raiders signed Roger Saffold, but then let him go after failing a physical, and he went back to the Rams. Bizarre. A big move is the Raiders signed Giants defensive end Justin Tuck to a 2-year, $11 million deal. I know plenty of Giants fans, and I know they're very upset about this. Justin Tuck is a big player. Giants had a terrible year, and losing Justin Tuck is not going to make them any better. The Raiders are really stacking up. The Raiders have been known to be the team that have everybody, and they still suck. So maybe this is the year for the Oakland Raiders. How fun would that be to finally see them do something?
Realistically, probably still isn't the year for them. They could get Peyton Manning, bring LaDainian Tomlinson out of retirement, bring Jerry Rice and Joe Montana and all these stars to the team, and they probably still would go 6-10. So I think Justin Tuck, great move, but they're going to need to do a lot more than that. They should probably do some things in their organization in terms of getting a new coach. They definitely need a new quarterback. I don't really think Terrell Pryor is the guy. They have Matt Flynn. I don't get why they don't use him, but next year being their year just because of Justin Tuck, no.
We never know. The Raiders could bounce back with something. The Cardinals signed former Steeler Jonathan Dwyer, the running back. Cardinals also signed wide receiver Ted Ginn Jr., the speedster. Great move by them. The Jaguars trade, another silly move by a bad team. Jaguars trade Blaine Gabbert to the 49ers for a 6th-round pick. Not saying Gabbert was some great quarterback, but when you're the Jaguars, I don't even know who their other quarterback option would be. So, questionable move. Jaguars, another team just like Tampa Bay. Something's going on in Florida, and y'all need to look at this draft and get some players.
Yeah, Blaine Gabbert being traded, I don't get it. They do have Chad Henne, but, I mean, neither one of them are really a franchise quarterback. I wouldn't build a team around either one of them. So I guess I support trading Blaine Gabbert. To the 49ers don't need him, so I don't really get why they even participated in that trade. But Jaguars really just need a whole entirely new team so they can actually be successful in the NFL for once.
I got some more misery for you Giants fans out there. The 49ers are interested in Giants wide receiver Hakeem Nicks. Great receiver. If he's leaving the Giants and Justin Tuck's leaving the Giants, y'all got some problems. The Jaguars reached an agreement with former Viking running back Tony Gerhart. Titans signed Dexter McCluster. Bucks signed former Bears quarterback Josh McCown to a 2-year, $12 million deal. Pretty good move by the Bucks. Proud to see y'all actually doing something. The Bucks also signed former Titans cornerback Alteron Werner to a 4-year, $26.25 million deal. Great move, y'all. Picking up some players who can actually do something. I'm glad to see it. Maybe the Bucks get relevant this year. What do we think?
Maybe. The Buccaneers have definitely made a lot of moves in this free agency period. I definitely like the initiative they're taking. I mean, after losing Revis, picking up Alteron Werner, he's definitely not the same player as Darrelle Revis, but he's solid, so I like it. I like the fact that the Buccaneers are doing things to turn their franchise around, and maybe perhaps we'll see them with a 8-8 record, perhaps a winning record.
Maybe. How
probably
would that
not.
be? Another
But
struggling team making some weird decisions. That's all what free agency is about. The Cleveland Browns released Jason Campbell and Brandon Weeden, both of their quarterbacks.
I don't get it. I
No.
don't get it. I mean, Browns lost Trent Richardson last season to my Indianapolis Colts, which I was very happy about. And Brandon Weeden and Jason Campbell being released. What are you going to do, Cleveland?
Who's throwing the ball?
There really aren't that many quarterbacks in this draft that you can be shipping off two of your quarterbacks. I don't.
This is not a quarterback-heavy draft class. I'm not sure which pick the Browns have, but really the only people who are available to them are Bridgewater. We got Manziel. Neither of those I see as a good fit for the Browns. A.J. McCarron, possibly. Interesting. All right. The Lions signed Golden Tate to a 5-year deal. Golden Tate, great receiver as Seahawks. Great pickup by the Lions.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. I see y'all. The Dolphins signed defensive tackle Randy Starks. The Jets made a deal with Eric Decker from the Broncos. We were just talking about how the Broncos are strengthening their defense. They, as a team, they got rid of Eric Decker. I never really saw the importance of Eric Decker.
Wow.
I don't know if this is a big deal, but
it's a pretty big deal. Eric Decker was one of the best receivers on the Broncos this season. They had 4 great players in Julius Thomas and Demaryius Thomas, Eric Decker, Wes Welker. Those 4 were really their guys. So the fact that Eric Decker's gone, it's really unfortunate to see. He was such a great player with Peyton Manning. He had a great season. Now Peyton has 3 weapons. I mean, I don't think it's going to hurt the offense that much.
I wouldn't be sad about losing Decker if I had Demaryius Thomas. Personally, I see Demaryius Thomas as my guy. So Eric Decker, I mean, have fun on the Jets because that's a great team. Anyways, the Bears. Henry Melton is to visit the Vikings. Emmanuel Sanders is a free agent from the Steelers. He likes the Jaguars. Little bizarre. The Steelers, Ryan Clark, Mr. I'm going to weigh in on everything, is visiting the Redskins. He even said he would not like to retire. He would not like to be released or traded, but if that's the case, he just wants to go into it. He wants to pick where he wants to go, though, so he would rather be released. That seems to be a common trend in this week, but as we discussed, he's Mr. ESPN, so that's always an option for you, Ryan Clark.
Yeah, Ryan Clark is definitely going to be hired by ESPN after he retires, and I do support him looking at the Redskins. The Redskins have made a lot of moves during this free agency period. They picked up Jason Hatcher from the Cowboys, Clifton Geathers, Tracy Porter, Darryl Sharpton, and they're currently trying to get Anthony Spencer, who's also from the Cowboys. So the Redskins are really doing a lot to improve their defense. As we talked about last week, they franchise tagged Brian Orakpo, which is a great move. So yeah. I totally support Ryan Clark going there. I think it would be a great decision. I think the Redskins are really going to improve a lot, especially if RG3 stays healthy. So I support it, Ryan Clark. Good move.
That'd be a great fit for him. The Bears' former cornerback Charles Tillman is visiting the Buccaneers. That would be a huge pickup for the Bucs. Yeah. The Packers' free agent Jermichael Finley. He's also a Longhorn. He's visiting the Seahawks. Jermichael Finley did not get to play most of last season because of injury. Had a very, very dangerous injury. Lucky to walk away from it. Had a neck injury. Him on the Seahawks would just be another deadly weapon. Yeah. Deadly weapon. He's a huge tight end, great target. I could see the Seahawks as the perfect fit for him.
Yeah, I want to talk about the Seahawks a little bit actually too, because as you discussed, Golden Tate went to the Lions, Sidney Rice was released, and I understand the moves and I support them because the Seahawks are kind of doing what the Panthers are doing in that they're trying to focus on their youth. They have Percy Harvin, who hopefully stays healthy this year and he'll be able to play. They have Doug Baldwin, who Richard Sherman argued as one of the best receivers in the NFL, which I agree with. I think he's really good. I think he's going to be great for them this season. They have Jermaine Kearse. So I think that the Seahawks are making a lot of interesting moves, but I totally can see them repeating again with the team that they have. They have the same defense minus Brandon Browner. They're really going to focus on their really good receivers. Because Golden Tate and Sidney Rice had great seasons, as did Doug Baldwin, Jermaine Kearse, Percy Harvin when he played his 3 games. But I think that Baldwin and Harvin are definitely 2 receivers that you want to focus on. So I support.
If they pick up Jermichael Finley, it doesn't matter who they lost. Jermichael Finley is a great target.
Yep.
Very, very underrated. He was great for the Packers, and I think that'd be a great fit for him. Vince Wilfork asked the Patriots to release him. That's a big deal. You know, he's been on the Patriots for a while. And the Bengals released linebacker James Harrison. Bengals haven't been relevant, really. James Harrison, good player. I'm not sure if anyone else is actually looking into him. Right now, he's in control of his own destiny, though.
Yeah, it's definitely not really great move. James Harrison's a really great linebacker. I would keep him around. I would do anything I can to keep him on my team. He's a great leader. He's just a force on the field. Like running backs should shy away from him. I don't think they do, but they should because he's a hitter. So
we know he's a hitter. He's been known for that.
Yeah.
That's actually all the moves I got right now for the NFL. I'm sure right after I finish this, I'm going to check my phone and see 7 more trades. But a big thing going on this week was also the college basketball conference tournaments. They haven't finished yet, so I can't report on who's won what yet. Auburn did fire their head coach after losing to South Carolina in the SEC tournament. And for us Longhorns out there, Texas Athletic Director Steve Patterson says Rick Barnes is returning next year. We all thought that if we had a new athletic director, Barnes and Mack would be out, and it turns out only Mack's out. So, interesting. Texas plays Baylor tonight in the semifinals of the Big 12 tournament. We'll see how that goes.
Yep.
Moving on to some NBA. The 76ers have an 18-game losing streak.
That is awful. To be an NBA team and to lose 18 games straight, it's just not good. I mean, we know the 76ers aren't doing well this season. They just lost Evan Turner, so they're going to tank. They're probably going to do as badly as the Lakers are going to do. So
Whoa. It was all good until you brought the Lakers into it.
Well, Kobe's out for season, so...
Yes, speaking of the Lakers, we got Steve Nash and Kobe out for the rest of the season. Steve Nash said that he won't retire because, quote, I want the money. We get it, Steve Nash, we all want money. But Kobe being out for the season, he took to make some remarks about the Lakers being a huge disappointment this year, as honestly everyone in the country/world has been saying. And he also made a huge statement saying he does not want to play for Mike D'Antoni next year. So looking into next year, will the Lakers change coaches or release Kobe Bryant? Honestly, they will change coaches 15 times before they release Kobe Bryant. That is not even on the radar, Kobe playing for another team. They're going to find another coach, and they need to find one that Kobe likes and give Kobe the success he needs.
Yes, Kobe Bryant is the Los Angeles Lakers. So if it comes to Kobe being released or a coach being fired, they're going to fire the coach. And D'Antoni really hasn't done anything for the Lakers. Kobe Bryant, his entire career, has known success. He's been a winner. He's won 5 championships with the Lakers. And even if they haven't won the championship, they've been in the finals or they've been in the playoffs and they've been a threat. So the fact that these past few seasons the Lakers have been so bad and Kobe's been injured and had to watch his great franchise just decline, it's really unfortunate. So I understand why he feels the way he does. And Mike D'Antoni is not the guy to bring the Lakers back to where they were.
He never was the guy. When they were talking about hiring him, nobody said, oh, Mike D'Antoni, perfect fit. You are the Lakers. You have enough money to get any coach you want. Get someone good. Get someone that can bring success. I was hoping for a return from Phil Jackson. He is now making a deal with Knicks about being the president. Weird. Very bizarre. I always thought he would end up going back to the Lakers. Who really knows Phil Jackson these days? But all I'm saying, Mike D'Antoni, get out of there. Retire, resign, whatever, before you get humiliated and get fired.
I think the Knicks are doing a really smart thing in bringing in Phil Jackson as well. Phil Jackson's been very successful in his career as a coach with the Bulls and the Lakers. So as president, he'll just bring a winning culture and a winning attitude to the Knicks, which they really need because they're always predicted to do so well. And they've been doing well lately. The past, I believe they won 4 out of 5 in the last couple of weeks. So, I mean, the Knicks are picking it up, and bringing Phil Jackson will help. So, I support
Phil Jackson, he knows basketball better than anybody. Some losses to talk about. The Heat lose to the Nets. Bizarre. Bizarre. I,
season.
I can't say I didn't love it. I loved it. But also the Nets signed, we were talking about this, that they gave Jason Collins another 10-day deal. We didn't understand that. They decided that after the second 10-day deal is over, they're going to sign him for the rest of the season. Good for Jason Collins. But yeah, the Nets beating the Heat, did we ever think that would happen?
No, but they've beaten them 3 times this season, so I guess the Nets just have the Heat number, just like the Knicks do. The Knicks always beat the Heat too, so it's not that surprising. Every team has that one team that they just can't beat. My OKC Thunder did really well this week. I'm always happy about that. We beat the Lakers, and the Lakers kind of embarrassed us last Sunday, so it's good. Kevin Durant put up 29, Russell Westbrook put up 29, Serge
And
Ibaka.
OKC also beat the Rockets. You know, that's a big game, you know, with James Harden. It was a close game, very good game. And here's a stat that Armand will love and everybody else will love. Kevin Durant has 30 straight games with 25-plus points. The only other player to do that is Michael Jordan last century, and his streak was 40 games in a single season.
What does that mean? That means Kevin Durant is the greatest player of all time.
That means that Kevin Durant is 10 games away from being Michael Jordan, is what that means. No, in all seriousness, I even took Twitter to say this. You know, LeBron James scores 61 points. Everyone's screaming MVP, MVP. That was one game. Kevin Durant has this. I think he has 11 games with 40-plus points as well. Incredible. I mean, that's incredible. And no one says anything. No one's saying MVP for that. Everyone's still putting LeBron over KD for the MVP race. As far as Kevin Durant is concerned, he says he doesn't really care about the MVP. He cares more about getting that championship.
I love it. Love the attitude.
They kind of all have to say that. We get it. But he deserves the MVP. He deserves it because right now he is one of the greatest players in basketball. No one else is putting up numbers like that. No one else.
Yeah. No, Kevin Durant is doing incredible this season. I love what I'm seeing from him. I love his attitude. I love how hungry he is. He's LeBron before LeBron won his first ring. And he has a chip on his shoulder, and he's doing great things. Russell Westbrook is finally maturing, and he's defaulting to passing more. And he said that he's having fun passing. So I love it. Keep having fun. Keep passing to Kevin Durant. Please shoot less, because OKC will be so successful, and I can see us in the finals, and I can see us winning if we stick to what we're doing right now. Caron Butler has been doing great things for us, draining threes. I love it. He's a great bench piece. Serge Ibaka stepped it up. Things are turning around because a couple weeks ago it just looked like it was all Kevin Durant, and he can't lead us to the promised land by himself. So with Russell Westbrook maturing and everyone else stepping it up, OKC's looking good.
OKC is looking good. I would love to see them win the championship. Again, I'm always making a mean comment about LeBron, and here's the one for this week. Kevin Durant is better than LeBron James this season. You're making a face at it, but I say it's true. I've been known to make those bold statements. He is better than he is because Kevin Durant doesn't make excuses for his losses, and he still plays great. I'm picking Kevin Durant on my team over LeBron James. LeBron, it's not working, man. You're not Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is really making his legacy known as we are speaking. He is becoming a legend right before our eyes.
No, I completely agree with you on that. I would pick Kevin Durant to build a team around myself. And I am biased, but I just love the way Kevin Durant plays. I love how much of a scoring machine he is. And he's really doing amazing. And he is better than LeBron this season. I made a face. I thought you were going to say Kevin Durant's better than LeBron, like in general, so that's why I made the face, because he's not, but he's up there, and he's getting there.
He's going to get there. He's going to get there. I don't doubt. I might have to edit my Mount Rushmore pretty soon, because I'm going to want to put Kevin Durant up there.
Okay, let's not go that far and put Kevin Durant on a Mount Rushmore when he's been in the NBA for 5 seasons, but maybe at the end of his career. I think that he's going to need to win a couple rings to be considered on the Mount Rushmore and win a few MVPs, which is difficult with LeBron James in the league. But yeah, Kevin Durant is. No
one can score and dominate the court like Kevin Durant can, and that's clear from that stat I just read. To have 25-plus games in 30 games straight is insane. It's absolutely insane. Everybody has bad games, and doesn't appear that Kevin Durant does. A bad game for Kevin Durant is he doesn't pass 30. Incredible. He's a monster. A monster.
Yep.
A scoring machine.
Love what I see. Love it.
You know, we're gonna wrap up for this week. It was a ton of NFL news. Free agency is gonna keep going. We will probably have 15 more trades to tell y'all about next week, and then March Madness is starting next week. We will have all you need to know about the conference tournaments that were this week, and then we're gonna dive into those first few rounds of March Madness. It's beginning, baby.
Yep. I just want to talk about one thing, actually. Richard Sherman this week has been causing a lot of trouble on Twitter. He got into an argument with LeGarrette Blount, and he got into an argument with D'Angelo Hall. LeGarrette Blount congratulated Aqib Talib on his contract with the Broncos, called him the best corner, and Richard Sherman took offense to that.
Whoa.
And talked about how he locks up all the best receivers, and then Blount was like, Talib does that, and he does it better. And then D'Angelo Hall mentioned how Rich Sherman has never had 4 interceptions in one game, and just a lot of drama. And I think that Richard Sherman he's doing interesting things in bringing all this publicity to him, but there's a fine line between positive and negative publicity, and I think that his ego and all the cockiness is kind of getting him to the point where people are going to start to not like him. So I think he should dial it back a little bit. I love his personality. I love his attitude. I love how fierce he is and competitive he is in all disciplines of his life, but I think that he really should dial it back a little bit because it's getting to the point where it's going to be a problem for him.
See, it's unfair. It truly is, because just as we love to argue sports, so do they. They love to argue sports. They're athletes. They want to argue sports. And the fact that every time they say one little thing, it becomes national news, it's unfair. It really is. Because I could easily have this argument with you. I'm not going to have ESPN breathing down my neck saying, why are you calling yourself a better quarterback than Aqib Talib? That's not going to happen. That's not going to be a front page of ESPN if I say it to you. So it is unfair, but that's a spotlight they put themselves in. Richard Sherman knows that's his spotlight. As far as his argument, I agree, but it's very different for me to say that Richard Sherman's the best and then him to say I'm the best.
Yep.
It's cocky. It's going to come off that way. He is going to make a lot of people hate him. They're going to be like, I don't like him. He's cocky. That's how a lot of people feel about a ton of athletes. Usain Bolt, a lot of people don't like him because he's cocky.
Michael Phelps.
You never want to say I'm the best. Let other people say it. Be humble. Be slightly modest, okay? We understand, Richard Sherman, you're the best corner in the game. You made that very clear. Let it go, you know. If they're hating on you, prove them wrong once the season starts. Saying it over Twitter, you can talk that talk, but unless you walk that walk, it doesn't mean anything.
Yes. Yeah. No, I agree. I definitely think you should dial it back. I think you should focus on football because, I mean, the Seahawks are looking like a favorite to repeat, but there are some NFL teams coming up, and they're on the rise with all these moves they're making, as we've discussed throughout the entire show. So I think that Richard Sherman should definitely focus a little less on Twitter arguments and focus more on watching out for these receivers that he has to guard.
Because next year, every receiver is just going to want to embarrass Richard Sherman. Because they're going to want to call him a mediocre cornerback because he loves calling receivers that. So, Rich Sherman, zip it. I understand what you're saying. I understand you want to talk sports. Dial it down. Dial it down. Anyways, guys, we thank you for tuning in once again. Next week, it's all college basketball, maybe some NFL. Keep tuning in. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.